Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Hello everybody and welcome to Game Over Calgary. We've got Marek here with us today. We are doing our first ever stream for Game Over Calgary. So this is going to be very interesting. We've done guest streams before, but we are hosting our own now. So anything you want to say, Marek? Introduce yourself here.
This is new for I guess both of us. This will be fun. This is taking us back to our podcasting roots when we first started broadcasting. So this will be a blast, I think.
Yeah, we've had a few little radio shows, especially hockey shows, throughout the years at Mount Royal University. So yeah, we are classmates. Marek and I do know each other, and we happen to be working on Game Over Network together. So yeah, we're just going to get into the game between Calgary and Minnesota, an away game tonight. Pretty good game. Score was 5-2 for Flames winning tonight. So yeah, we're going to
Still
talk
on,
about...
but I don't see the Flames coming back.
Yeah, no, I think... How long do they got left here?
Like a minute? Give or take?
Oh yeah, 50-some seconds. I didn't even know. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the overall gameplay and, oh, my bad. It's actually 5-3 now for Calgary, Minnesota.
That's brutal.
That is.
Can you imagine when they just come back and we just ooh.
Yeah.
No, but,
No, go ahead.
Flames played a pretty decent game. I really hope they don't come back, because that would just look really bad. I know Conrad will be pretty annoyed, but Andrei Kuzmenko, most likely his Calgary legacy game. He had 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. And we were talking earlier, Clark Bishop, he has his first NHL career goal.
Yes. There's a few little moments tonight that I feel like are worth talking about, especially with the aggression, I think, in the game, and some specific fights that broke out and some of the penalties that were taken. It was definitely a game of penalty minutes. So do you have any thoughts, especially, I guess, in that second period I would like to talk about with the amount of just physical fights and just aggression that was seen on the ice, that eventually did lead to a kind of more calm third period?
I think the big topic that'll come out of the Flames game today will be the, oh my gosh, it's 5-4.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Anyways, assuming they don't come back, this will be really awkward. But I think the main thing is going to be the penalty again, or the hit against Kevin Ball that did not see him return. Initially, it was called a 5-minute major, completely fair, but it was then changed to a 4-minute with 2 different penalties. Through that sequence, it was Jacob Lukau got boarding, and then Yakov Trenin got roughing, and then Anderson got roughing as well. So Flames ended up with a 2-minute power play on that kind of section.
Yeah, I definitely, when I saw that hit on Ball, I was like kind of a little shocked when I noticed that it was put down to a minor penalty, I guess. Like when it was initially called as a major, I thought it looked like a major, but then when they were replaying it and we saw that he kind of did do that kind of stutter step where at first it looked like he was going to wrap around the net completely, and then he seemed to actually start going left towards the boards. So I think in that moment, I don't even know what I would do if I was in that position. I think that honestly, it was a little unavoidable and a little confusing with the way that they were skating around the net there. But I feel like that definitely tumbled the rest of that period to go a little out of hand in terms of the rest of the penalty minutes that were granted. There was definitely some fights that came about for some payback on a hit like that. What did you think about some of those fights?
I think it was bound to happen. If a guy goes down like that, you're obviously, when you have Blomberg, he's obviously going to get into a fight. The Flames did win. It ended 5-4, so we can breathe easy now. But no, it was a good fight. Lomberg obviously was going to be the guy that steps up to the challenge. To give props to Luco, or Lauco, however you say it, he held it pretty well with how good of a fighter Lomberg is. Another fight that kind of happened was between Rasmus Anderson and Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
That one was a bit of an odd type of fight that I thought at least, right? So Anderson does a little sucker punch to Fleury, and that leads to more chaos. But yeah, I think Flames did all in all did a good job killing penalties, scoring on the power play when the opportunity arose. Going 2 for 3 tonight on the power play, and this will not be the last time the Flames see the Minnesota Wild. April 11th will be the next time, and the final time this season they will play.
Yeah, honestly, I do think that the Flames did take good advantage of when they were on the power play, like a genuine power play. The way that the penalties were kind of lining up tonight, obviously, there was a few times where it was disadvantage for the amount of people on the ice. But that fight in front of the net, I'm trying to look here. I knew I wrote it down what originally started it. I think it was a cross-check. Yes. Huberdeau cross-checked Chris Ulm on Minnesota, and that kind of led to the huge breakout fight in front of the net. That resulted in Fleury getting a penalty, which I thought, I don't know, my jaw dropped the moment that they replayed that hit from Anderson to Fleury. That was quite a clean, just clock to the face. That was quite aggressive. Yeah, but tonight I do feel like talking about the Flames' overall performance going from period to period would be significant because they almost had completely different energy, even from first to second period and then going to the third period. I don't think that they or even Minnesota were consistent in the way that they were playing. And I don't know if you completely agree, but it definitely was, I think, very clear to see how much the Flames let off when they are leading by what they feel is a safe amount, which obviously we almost just saw that maybe that was not the best move on their part and that they should have kept going with the same amount of strength they held in the second period. So what do you think about that? Yeah, they almost literally lost. They only somehow won by 1 point with having quite a few leads within the game. So how do you feel about their play style and how that contributed to what became the final score of 5-4?
I think they definitely came up flat-footed. I think their first goal was kind of they got a good fast break and then were able to score right away. But then right after that, Minnesota kind of took over and kind of dictated play for most of it. Thankfully, the Flames kind of brought it back in the second, and then throughout the majority of the third, it was pretty good, except for the very end, where the Flames just kind of went nuts, essentially, right? So, and Minnesota kind of capitalized on that. But all in all, a very good game in regards to just everything. Sorry, I'm echoing a lot on stream. It was someone in the chat said that, so I don't sound very good.
I'm not sure.
Thankfully, you told everyone we're new to this.
Yeah, we are new. I set up my streaming software today and then absolutely had it just crash out on me. So let me see if I can get this figured out. I feel like I might know why. I don't know if I can edit this in stream.
I don't want to talk just because it sounds brutal.
Yeah.
Let me try.
Let's see if we can get some troubleshooting in here so we can continue talking about the game a little better. Get into our little group chat here with the Game Over Network. I feel like it could honestly be because I do not have maybe headphones on, and Marek might be being picked up into my microphone here. So I have to see how that's supposed to be going right now. I guess I can talk a little bit again about what I felt the play was like today. I don't think am I echoing or anything in the stream, or am I good?
I muted myself on Discord and it still sounding pretty bad.
You can still hear yourself through Discord, even when you mute yourself on Discord?
No, I'm still echoing when I'm on Discord. Even when and then you can't hear me if I mute myself.
Because I don't know. I really don't know how to fix this, guys. I am not as techie as I probably should be to be doing a stream like this all on our own. Just please bear with us through these hiccups. Trying to figure out some audio here, obviously.
Do you want to talk a bit about Wolf's play for a bit while I try to figure this out? Go for it.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you know, if you guys watch Game Over Calgary often, how much we do talk about Dustin Wolf. By no means is Dustin Wolf slowing down anytime soon. Got some facts on him, a little bit of his stats here at the start. Obviously, he's kind of known right now as the best rookie in the year when it comes to goalies in the NHL. For how well he has been doing right now, he has a .932 save percentage, which is fifth in the NHL. Which is that's the second rank in the NHL. Don't know where I got fifth in save percentage. And they're just behind the Jets, with the Jets at .933 for their save percentage. And coming up, we will definitely see if that changes, because I know that they're versing each other coming up here, and we'll see how the Flames react coming up with that, and especially in terms of Dustin Wolf and his play tonight. I felt when it came to him getting scored on early in the first, even heading into the third and the second, he never really fell apart when he got scored on. He kept his composure, and I don't think I ever saw him really fumbling. He didn't seem stressed out or worried. But when it came to goals scored against Minnesota, I felt like even Minnesota defensively, not even just their goalie, Fleury, fell apart a little bit and definitely scrambled, and they couldn't bring themselves back together quick enough, especially in the second period when they kept being scored on by the Flames. Do you have any word on how to fix this audio issue? Not yet.
There we go. Check how many audio channels you have live. That's what Matt has been saying.
Yeah, so that's the confusing bit. I only have guest cam and my personal mic live for audio. So I'm confused. My desktop audio is muted.
Mine shouldn't be a problem.
No.
Because all my input is going to my AirPods. So Andrew said everything but your own mic, then click transition, and then add guest audio.
I think all I have is guest cam, though. I don't have a separate folder for guest audio. So that's why I'm a little...
And then add guest audio.
I don't know. Mute my mic, then click transition, and then add. But your audio is connected to your camera, so that's why I'm confused. I don't have a separate folder for your audio. Gotta love it. First stream, something had to go a little haywire, guys. So bear with us. Promise we have lots to say about the game tonight.
And I sound like I don't sound very good either, which is brutal. Like, it's not like it's a little thing. I don't sound good at all.
Oh, goodness.
It's a great first show.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Your first impression of us as hosts, and this is what's going on. Promise, we're good. We know what we're talking about at least. It's just if you guys can actually bear listening to us talk about it.
I don't blame you for not wanting to hear my voice right now.
It's so confusing because they're telling me to have only 2 channels for my audio live, my own mic, and Marek's camera. Discord is what we're using, and that is exactly what I have. So why it's echoing, who knows? Always have to troubleshoot something. Waiting on some responses. Okay, I will try muting my...
You want to transition to the second period, and then I will...
Maybe I'll try muting my mic and keep Discord on, and then you can tell me if you guys can still hear me. Sound good?
Go for it. I probably still don't sound good.
Okay, let's test it.
It's a bit delayed. Give it a sec. Did you do it? Oh, wait. This is brutal. Oh, I think so. Oh. Okay. There we go. We're good. All right. Now let's Let's get to the second, and we'll go from there. There we go. Yeah. Well, Wolf was a big reason they actually stayed relevant within the game, especially when Minnesota was pushing. Honestly, this is the best game I've seen Kuzmenko play as a Flame in probably ever in his career as at his time in Calgary. He was just playing so well and just was playing phenomenal throughout the entire game. Shooting shots, he's finally considering just to stop passing, just shoot, and it was going well for him every time. This is so much fun. Do you have headphones? Because I wonder if that's the issue. This is lovely. Oh boy. Oh boy. I will text everyone and see what that is. Talk to my buddy. He's watching the stream. Can you hear both us? True, but now there's only one of us talking that you can hear. I want to shout out Christine Morel for allowing us to get feedback of what we're doing. You can only hear me. Fantastic. I'm just getting stuff from my buddy. Am I still doubled when you unmute yourself like that, though? Whoa. Yep, I'm still muted. Okay, so there's a suggestion we can do is you talk, I stay quiet, and then when you switch it off to me, you mute yourself, and then when you talk, I don't talk at all. That'll be the easiest way to do it, so at least sounds listenable.
Great.
Whoa. All right, let's run with that. We'll see how that goes.
Sorry, a little bit of an audio lag. Just been messing with too many things here. Okay, so now I've got my mic on. We're gonna do a bunch of clicky clicks to get basically both of us heard at the same, but also not at the exact same time. So, yes, now finally we have moved into the second period for those of you that could not hear me before, and we're gonna kind of talk now about Kuzmenko and his game tonight and the role he played, as well as covering some more a little bit about Dustin Wolf, which you guys already heard from Marek because he was the only one that didn't get to give an input last time. But yes, great game from Dustin Wolf's side and Kuzmenko. Multi-point game tonight. I was proud with his performance. I think he was around the puck quite a bit tonight, and I think that definitely was a breakout game for him a little more with the Flames. I know he's had some good times already, but I feel like he definitely is getting more significant in his role in the Flames lineups, and I definitely think that he will be a key component heading off into the playoff race here. I know we are currently in the second wildcard spot, and that'll be like kind of another conversation I think we should talk about is the Flames' kind of tendency to get in some of these good positions for the playoffs, and then it's either they actually do good or they fizzle out. So especially coming into some of these harder teams that they're going to be against. So do you have any thoughts?
No, yeah, for sure. I think Flames beating the Wild tonight was a big statement win, especially it did get a little scary letting in 3 goals in the last kind of few minutes for them. But honestly, all in all, it's a great game. You played much better than you played against Buffalo. Winning way more face-offs. Your power play was on fire. You were just doing everything the Flames were just doing everything they could and they wanted to do to just score and just take control of the game, regardless of how close it got near the end. We do little mention of Clark Bishop. He did score his first goal. Like everyone was just firing on all cylinders. Huberto, like the top line looked good, even without getting any points. Like it was just like overall good game for the entire for the entire team. Wolf was a big reason the Flames stayed in there, posting 25 saves or 21 saves, allowing 4 goals. Again, his stats go down just in the last few minutes, right? So all in all, the Flames seem to be rolling as they're heading into Winnipeg tomorrow, which will be a pretty tough one. But other than that, I think they've been doing really good.
Yeah, in terms of Wolf's kind of play tonight, I feel like near the end in the third period, I don't think that it was necessarily on him for what has happened. I know that I personally think that the Flames, they stop playing hard when they think they don't have to anymore. And there's the ongoing issue of they match the performance of the team they're going against. So that was really heading off pretty aggressive in those in the second period at least. I know the first period was kind of uneventful, but definitely in the second period, playing aggressive, really getting in there, and then just in the third, Minnesota did let off, and they did as well. Like they just kind of copy the vibe of the team that they're against, rather than just keeping consistent their own energy. But yeah, Kuzmenko, I'm looking at the chat right now, and I see that Christine's saying, yeah, she's happy for Kuzmenko. It hasn't been fun for him lately, and I agree. I think him seeing some ice time right now and actually making some moves and getting some points and getting the recognition that I think he really does deserve was nice to see tonight, especially with this game. It was quite an eventful game. But yeah, I don't know. Is there any other players you kind of want to talk about in terms of their performance tonight and anyone else that stood out? We know Dustin Wolf stands out almost every game. But anyone else?
I think honestly, Christine just made a good point here with the defense. You lose Kevin Ball really early on in the second period, so you're already short defensemen. So it's a lot harder running. I believe they were running 5 defensemen for the game, and it's really hard to kind of you're down a man, which means someone's going to be getting double shifted. You're going to be exhausted throughout the game. But it's just like they did everything that was right. They were defensive. They were aggressive when they needed to. And Christine again with they were desperate when they needed to be. They didn't like when Minnesota scored to make it 4-2. When you know what the Flames did, not even 30 seconds later they get another one. That ended up being the reason they didn't go to overtime because of the Minnesota's like mini comeback. But no, the Flames played really good hockey tonight. And I think it's really good when you get that save from Wolf. Like it's just we talk about him day in, day out, but he's honestly the reason this Flames team is a good chunk of the reason why this Flames team is so good is that they're playing to protect Wolf, which in turn then turns into like being good on offense, making sure that the pucks don't come back to Wolf. They're trying to because he's a rookie. You have to treat that a bit differently, and they've been just doing really well with him in net, and so that's why they're finding themselves in a playoff spot. And I do believe that with this win tonight, I would just fact check myself, that they are now kind of isolated themselves in the wild card position. Yeah, they are 5 points ahead of Vancouver, which is incredible. So the Flames, if they just keep playing the way they're playing, I can't see them losing this wildcard 2 team. And I think there's a good chance this team could be riding Dustin Wolf into the playoffs.
Yeah, honestly, I do think that near the end of the game there, they all were tired after they lost Ball there. And then on top of that, sorry guys, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes, but I was rush writing, and my handwriting is a mess from this game. But yeah, I think that even though we talk about Wolf so often, I think it is honestly because of how well he's playing and it being his rookie year. And then just kind of, I think the conversation, especially with the Calder Trophy and kind of like getting down to the wire with that and comparing kind of the last contenders for those awards, I feel like we're just going to start talking about him more. There's never going to be a let off when it comes to Wolf and his performance and accomplishments. But yeah, I guess if we have nothing else to really say in terms of player performance, we can maybe go into the third period and talk about kind of coming up the Flames and their games, kind of what we expect and think that the Flames are going to do in terms of their performance, and then looking up into the playoff race as well. I know we covered it a little bit, but maybe diving deeper and thinking, do you think we're going to make it or fall short, and talking about the specifics of that. Are you good with moving into the third period?
There we go. Yep, let's do it. That'll be good.
Okay, there we go. That's third period. So, I think I want to talk about in terms of the Flames kind of race for the playoffs here. I know coming up that they do have games against some pretty difficult teams, but I want to talk more specifically about the players that they are going to take with them and really utilize when it comes to this the last few games that are coming up. The last game that I covered with Game Over Network for Calgary was Calgary and Chicago's last game against each other for the series, where Rory Cairns was put up for the night. And obviously we know now that he was scratched. He played 5 games for the Flames, and that first game was arguably the best one that he had with the Flames. And I think in terms of the younger men on the team, the younger players on the team, I think we really have to talk about, do we want to see more of these younger players when it comes to playing these more difficult teams, especially when we saw how well Peltier and Cairns played together from their time on AHL. Do we think that there's like value in going into doing that with the playoffs?
I think it depends, kind of ideally where they're going to be around the trade deadline, because if the Flames are in a playoff spot, I don't see why they wouldn't end up not super buying, but to the point where, because obviously the Flames are in a weird spot where they're on a bit of a miracle run, and you don't want to give up draft picks because you still need to build the future. You don't want to do that, but I can't see the Flames not wanting to maybe be like conservative buyers going into this deadline, maybe picking up a player here or there where you don't have to maybe rely on all the young guys who obviously the young guys have been working for the Flames. It's been working, but if you don't want to just kind of risk it when you get into playoffs, because you don't know, playoffs are completely different than the regular season, right? So I don't see why the Flames couldn't, if they're in a playoff spot, be open to this kind of spot. But at the same time, if they don't end up doing a whole lot in the trade deadline, I don't see why the Flames would have to change anything. I think it just depends on what Calgary kind of does as a team via trades, picking up people, dropping people on waivers, kind of that kind of.
Yeah, and I know that there is definitely a history of Calgary falling short when it comes to the end and making it to the playoffs. And I feel a little differently about it this year. I think that they actually do have a better chance, looking at how they have been performing, to keep this wildcard spot and make it into the playoffs. It's just a matter of if they can actually make it through any of the rounds in the playoffs, because the playoffs get really aggressive. And Calgary, I don't argue that Calgary is an aggressive team and they can keep up with the aggression of a lot of the teams that they go up against. But to me, I do find that they might not be as aggressive. Like, they won't be the aggressors in some of these situations, but they will start becoming aggressive when they sense it at the start. And so I kind of know that when it gets to the playoffs, it gets very cutthroat. You're looking at a lot more injuries. You're looking at players that are playing sick, hurt, just to try and get through it all. And I don't know for sure how well Calgary can actually make it through something like that right now, especially with a lot of the younger guys on the team. So I kind of want to know your thoughts on, if they did make it to the playoffs, what do you think their overall performance would be? And do you think they actually make it far?
Well, you do have a few, like, I know Connor Zary is currently on IR for his leg injury, so he'll be a great addition when he returns. I can't, if they make the playoffs, I think it would just depend who they play. Right now, if the Flames currently sit second, like we said, in the wild card position, so they would be playing the Winnipeg Jets. Now, ironically, Winnipeg has also been known to kind of lose a lot of their really, really good play in the playoffs, as we saw from last season against Colorado in round one. But between the Flames and the Jets, obviously the Jets are a completely different type of caliber team. They have one of the best teams in the NHL right now, and that's pretty much up for no debate. If the Flames were to go into this playoff series, I think they go into it with the same way they've been going into games this season. It's like, should we be doing this good? No. But are we going to stop playing good? Not at all. I think they just need to keep their head down, keep pushing. If they can go on a run, they go on a run. Like, this team right now can beat almost like this team is on fire. They're beating good teams. Like Minnesota is a top 10 team in the NHL right now, and they just won 5-4, and you beat them again earlier in the season. If the Flames want to even have a chance in the playoffs to win a series and go further, I don't think they need to change their game plan. They gotta have the same mindset going in and out every game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that really the thing that's going to determine it is if they can keep up with what they have been doing. And they don't really, in my opinion, I don't think they have too many big flaws. At the start of the season, I thought that maybe they were lacking with winning faceoffs and getting in there and being the person that starts the play. But tonight, I actually thought that they were winning a lot of the faceoffs and they were taking control of the plays. And I didn't see many issues in at least the play tonight. I know that we missed the end there, coming to when the score got a little close, but I can only imagine that being tired and losing a player had something to do with that, and we will have to see later on, especially with their game coming up against Winnipeg, if that kind of pattern repeats, because I know that I think that is the one issue I would see for Calgary is actually playing a whole game without kind of losing their momentum, which of course every team is going to have an issue with, but I feel like it's more noticeable with Calgary's play at times. But yeah, going into the playoffs, I think that having some of these rookies and having some of these newer players, they don't know what the playoffs entails. They don't know the pressure. They don't know how it feels. So it really is going to be kind of like a game by game kind of a like decision making kind of look at the plays that they make and how they do and how these players actually cope to the style of the playoffs. And I really hope that these newer players don't go into the playoffs with too much weight on their back. I think that Calgary just needs to relax and they need to see that they've been doing well and they need to just stay confident and stay on track with what they have been doing.
Yeah, I was just again, I've been with us doing this back and forth thing gives me a chance to read the chat, and someone Tylen Swift just kind of asked a question of, do you think Wolf will be playoff ready? And I think that raises a very good question, as all this is new for Dustin Wolf. Obviously, he's never played a full year in the NHL with him being a rookie, and I think it's going to depend how the Flames play. If his play starts to decline, kind of closer to March, April, then maybe he's not this playoff goalie. And again, that's fine. He's a rookie. Should he be this good? No, he's better than some NHL level goalies or some NHL veteran goalies that he just outplayed Marc-Andre Fleury today. Like he's a guy that is helping this team win. And I think the Flames have been able to kind of just make sure that it's all perfectly fine. Do I think Wolf will be playoff ready? I don't think I could be able to answer that now, but I would be very cautious of looking how his play kind of develops after the Four Nations tournament within the week, the few games in late February and heading into March, because usually the playoffs, besides like a few of the wild card teams, seem to be closing down. And yes, Calgary being the wild, but Calgary's got a 5-point gap. I think they if they keep playing the way they're playing, they'll make it. I think Wolf, if he doesn't change anything, he should be okay. But I think it's too early to say if he's going to be ready, if he's going to be not. But right now, I'm leaning towards I think he'll be playoff ready, and maybe he steals a series for the Flames. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I know personally, I'm a type of person that looks at the side of definitely the traction that a team is having, especially in terms of the media and their coverage. And I think that, unfortunately, with the success of Wolf and the coverage he gets in the media, us contributing, there is definitely an expectation put onto Wolf that might be a little unfair to him, especially with being a rookie. We see, I know there's so many people that see him like as this like heaven sent goalie sent to the Flames that's going to carry them to the playoffs, and like everyone just praises this kid, but that's where the playoffs is going to really decide if it was smart to really give him this kind of hope and like confidence going into each of these games. Because yes, it works in the regular season, but really, when it really comes down to it, and he thinks that it's getting in his head that he's so good and he just can't lose, and then he just starts losing, is that going to take a toll on him? Is that going to determine if he was playoff ready or not? I think it's going to be like a time will tell type of thing, because it seems like when the Flames start doing good, there's really no question. Like the team just carries it. The fans just carry it, and they're like, we can't do no wrong type thing. Like, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see if they do make it into the playoffs, to see how they play. I'm excited to see if they do. I know the city will be completely crazy, even if they just make it to the first round and end it in the first round. The city is going to be just completely alive, and that's my other view in the media sense of things. I don't know if you have anything left to say, but I think we could definitely move into the fourth period, because I see the chat is so active. They have quite a few questions that we have to catch up on. So do you agree? You want to go to the fourth period?
Okay. Oh, sorry. There we go. Fixed it. Again, like we were reading the chat before, Thailand actually does bring up a good point. He struggles on the road. Quote, he struggles on the road, and with the playoff atmosphere, it will be scary, especially assuming the Flames won't have home ice advantage, but you never know. Which is true. But let's say, hypothetically, you're going, as of right now, it looks like they're playing the Jets. What is the Jets known for in the playoffs? The whiteout, which is one of the, like, most, like, if you're a rookie goalie and your first playoff game is in Winnipeg and it's a full whiteout, you're I'd be a little worried too, because that's one of the scariest playoff atmospheres there are in the NHL. And like, if that's your first game, if you're not mentally prepared, even just the slightest, you're a little confused. And earlier in the year, obviously, Wolf was babied a bit in terms of playing way more home games than away games. But I feel like if he kind of embraces being okay playing on the road and kind of settles into what could be a playoff type atmosphere, I think he'll be okay. But again, you're quite literally, if you're playing the Jets first round, he's going into the deep end when it comes to playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's going to be a shock to him and the other rookies to see just how leveled up the fans and the arenas get when the playoffs come around and when you go on the road and you don't have that home ice advantage. Especially someone like Wolf, who was, at the start of the season, like you said, used to just playing the home games. And my other question about that is also, like, in a case where Wolf is choking, and we can obviously not hope for that or not expect that, because we hope that he really will push through these playoffs, but if he just can't live up to the standard that he has right now, do we think a goalie like Vladar is going to be ready to step in and perform in a way that can make up for the lacks that Wolf could potentially have when it comes to the stress of playoffs?
Yeah, on the show that Matt, the last show when Calgary beat Buffalo, we talked about that a bit, and I disagreed with Matt on the fact that if you bring up Devin Cooley, you have two rookie goalies, and in a playoff atmosphere, that's scary. Vladar's a veteran goalie who's got a little bit of playoff experience. That's where you want to keep him. I think another factor we're also forgetting is this team could be losing a player. Like, let's say, obviously, we've seen the reports that Anderson's been a big, decent trademark, trade piece that the Flames have kind of been like a little bit interested in seeing what people are offering, but seeing what they're not. But and obviously with Anderson not wanting to leave, but if the Flames could lose some people at the deadline. We said the opposite before, that they could be gaining some of these people, but they also could be losing them, and as well as the same case as with Wolf being so young. A lot of the younger guys too could also be affected heading into the playoffs, like Kurt, like Karen's, like a few other young guys, right? Like it's an atmosphere going into something like this. Thailand again just says something like if Ladar picks up his play and kind of is playing pretty decent, you might test the waters, throw him in game one, put Dustin Wolf in the building. He knows what it's like. It's not going to be a surprise if he does start game. You can't lose a series in one game. You're fine if you lose one game. It's not the end of the world. But if you're throwing Wolf in, if he gets like you lose 6-1, you're in like hypothetically again, you're in Winnipeg, you lose 6-1. You're in a very bad spot. Your best goalie all year is now very scary. Very like not scared, but his first playoff game he just allowed 6 goals. You have this veteran who has had experience in that, and then your third string in this case would be Cooley. And again, that's 2 rookies going into a very hard atmosphere. It's just I'd be a little worried, and if the Flames trade Vladar, I would be skeptical on the goaltending heading into the playoffs if the Flames were still on the spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think that unfortunately, a lot of the Flames' success when it comes to the playoffs is going to be based on the goaltending because I know that they have so many players right now that are showing promise, but I almost feel like they show it on a game by game. Like they'll do it one game and then it'll be 3-4 games later and they haven't made the type of success that they did that first time. And like that's where we keep talking about a player having their breakout game where they have a game with so many points and then just flat. So I definitely think that it's going to be up to the goalies to decide what's going to happen when it comes to the playoffs. Looking at the chat here, I definitely agree with Thailand in saying that the atmosphere is going to be hard on these younger guys. But my almost thought with you saying that maybe Vladar playing that first game in the series would be better. I know that the Flames are a team that are very momentum based. If they lose that first game, are they going to be crushed? Are they going to lose their confidence and their momentum to perform in a way that maybe Wolf would if he was put in and all of a sudden he got over what the atmosphere was like and performed the way that he should and that the Flames won the game? Would the Flames perform better for the rest of the series? That's my question in letting maybe Vladar versus Wolf start. I don't know which one I actually would prefer because, yeah, I really do think the Flames are, based on their wins and losses, that's how they decide to perform. I don't know if you...
No, for sure. I just while you were talking, I did a little bit of research, and in the past, like we'll just say roughly 10-ish years, there's only been 2 rookie goalies that have really kind of taken off in their first year of playing. The first one is Jordan Binnington in 2019. Now, again, these are scenarios that are completely different to the Flames situation, but I'm looking at this primarily just from a goalie standpoint. Binnington helped the St. Louis Blues win a Stanley Cup and quite literally was the backbone. And arguably, making that comparison to Wolf, like just goalie-wise, Binnington and Wolf, they're not far different, except the anger issue thing, but that's out of whatever. But with Wolf, he does like show some of those capabilities. I don't think the Flames. It'd be nice to see the Flames win the cup. I don't know. I don't think they'll be able to. But the other goalie is Matt Murray, who first 2 years in the NHL wins 2 cups, right? Like rookie goalies aren't. If they're in a good position, they can succeed. And Binnington and Murray are 2 examples of that. And it's just going to be the fact that it's a combination of not just the rookie goalies, but rookie players as well, that I think we're going to have to kind of see if the momentum does change. Like you said before, if the momentum of the team or the players start to die down kind of around the trade deadline or even a bit after, that's why you don't want to see Calgary going all in. You don't want to see that because you still want them to maintain their draft picks, their prospects, right? It's just the Flames are quite literally in a weird, funny situation of we shouldn't be this good. We are this good. We're going to be this good. But you can't just be like, we're going to be this good and then we're going to get more players. You still got to embrace the retool that you've kind of started with at the beginning and move on from there. I to be honest, if the Flames don't make a move on the deadline or make a very minuscule move, I don't see a problem with that. I think the Flames, I honestly think you said it best. It's just momentum. The Flames get momentum, they are a wagon. And you lose that momentum, you got to find a way to get it back super fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the Flames, it's going to be just so interesting to see when it comes to the playoffs, these younger guys, because yeah, they're helping now, but are they going to help later? But yeah, I think that we kind of covered almost everything. In the chat, I don't see any more questions popping up. I think we can agree that this is going to be quite an interesting end to the season, or the regular season here. Yeah, but I think that we're definitely seeing some things from the Flames that we have not seen in a while, and that's why I think everyone's getting so excited. But it's just a matter of if we let it get to the team and not, we just got to keep our expectations at a realistic level and not get too over the moon excited that we're gonna win the cup or something. So I don't know if you want to do a little sign off, say goodbye. I'm so happy for everybody that came to watch. I'm so apologetic about the audio issues. First stream, we are getting used to things. Usually we're just guests, so we don't have to worry about anything. But we are going to be hosting our own shows now, and it's going to be very exciting seeing us kind of integrate into the Game Over network here. I know we're both really excited to take this next step in our careers as we're getting closer to our broadcasting graduation. But yeah, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. Just Christine's quote, "I'm quiet. I'm team stay quiet at the deadline." I think that encapsulates what we both agree with. But yeah, I think this shows that we're still learning. This show itself. We appreciate you guys, especially in the chat, telling us that our audio was off, because I guarantee you we wouldn't have figured that out. 100 but yeah, I think obviously we're gonna keep learning, we're gonna keep growing as broadcasters and throughout this company. So thank you to Andrew and everyone else kind of helping us out through these problems, and hopefully the next show that Ruby and I do together, we kind of can actually have a conversation where we don't sound like I'm in an echo chamber.
Yeah, so I think we're going to sign off now, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out the Game Over Network online and come support us. I know that we'd all very much love it. We're getting all started up here, and there's a lot of streamers and hosts that are kind of getting their name built here, and it's definitely a very amazing experience. If you guys want to find us, my name is Ruby Zummack. I have my Instagram you guys can go look at. It's ruby.zummack. Ruby, spelled R-U-B-Y, Zummack, Z-U-M-M-A-C-K. I don't know if you want to say anything about your Instagram, Marek, or any socials you want to share.
Yeah, you can just check out my Instagram at MarekR_10, and one day we'll maybe when we're famous enough, we'll make it into our description of Game Over Calgary.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for watching. We will definitely see more of you in a bit. Have a good night, guys.